Hi, this is Regeline Sabat, also known as Gigi. You're listening to Walk With Me podcast. My guest today is Julie Christopher, also known as Juju. Juju is the CEO and creator of Biztuition, spiritual guide, mentor, music artist, best-selling author, global speaker, one of the world-renowned experts on business intuition, aka Biztuition. She is also the host of the Mystical Entrepreneur podcast. Welcome to the show, Juju.
We are here now. Amazing, fantastical. This is a miracle that we are here now. This is the most important notion of what it is to be in a human way here now. And to be here and now, to be here and now is you, Gigi. It's the Gigi and Juju thing going on today. If you're watching this, you're gonna get like, it's beyond value. You're going to get like transmission that is going to be physical, sexual, spiritual, and quantum and soul level. You're going to get it all packed up into this one interview. It's not even an interview. I don't even know what's going to be, but we're just going to let it be what is, because that's all we can do. We can all show up. And so Gigi and I, we're going to give you the permission to do the same thing. You're going to just show up. You're going to wrap up all of your trauma and use them and transform it into treasure. So you're going to use this pain, and you're going to shift it into a miracle. And so that is why I chose to be here today to give you this gift that is very, very important. Is this miracle of being you, to show up exactly as you are. How cool is that? That you have the permission to do so. That you don't have to have no drama, no stories, no past, no BS, no whatever it is now, that you are showing up as you are. And there's no, it's like you eradicate those negative belief system from your ancestor. You grab them and you squeeze them, you smush them, and you just eradicate it from DNA system. They do no longer exist. You're gonna show up in the world as you were designed to be, this divine being consciousness in your blueprint that is you entirely, fibers of your being, your cells, your blood, your bones, your spirituality, what you made of as God itself. So you're waking up to this truth that you are walking with yourself as God being with you, within. And so is everything that you look around you. It's the supreme reality. And so I invite you to be with Gigi. She's an angel on earth. I mean, who wake up to write a book that says God freaking first? God first. She doesn't need to say anything else but God first. What is there to say? You got to get up and wake up to this truth. There is no walking around and moping around and, I'm going to write a journal for freaking 6 hours. You wake up to it because that's who you are in the first place. You were designed to walk with God. You were designed to do miracles in your life. You were designed to have this power. You were injected with God's power inside of you. So it takes sacrifice to get up and to show up. It does. It takes the burning desire. You're even going to go through trauma and pain. You're going to bleed. But you're going to meet the most powerful being that you can ever meet through this trauma, through this walk. You're going to meet your higher self. You're going to talk to God. You're going to have conversations going to be beyond your logic mind. You won't be able to understand because there is no understanding in heaven. Understand without understanding. Thank you for letting me be me here today. Thank you, Gigi, for your grace and presence. Thank you.
You're welcome, Juju. It's an honor to have you here today. Now, can you start off by telling us about you and where you're from?
So I'd rather do this instead of talking because this is the thing. you know this, you go to an elevator and there's this funny music playing. You go to the doctor, there's a music. You go anywhere, there's some kind of music in the background. You go get diapers in the grocery store, there's a music in the background. Why is that? Because music shows the way. Music has the uniqueness of being the universal language, and most of it, music heals. So instead of going so much around the talking, I'm just going to play simple notes that's going to dive in to a glimpse of what I experience in my lifetime, a little bit of it. Ne me quitte pas, faut oublier, tout peut s'oublier, qui s'enfuit déjà, oublier le temps des malentendus et le temps perdu, à savoir comment oublier ces heures qui tuaient parfois à coups de pourquoi. Cœur du bonheur, ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas. Moi, je t'offrirai des perles de pluie venues de pays où il ne pleut pas. Je creuserai la terre jusqu'après ma mort pour couvrir ton corps d'or et de lumière. Je ferai un domaine où l'amour sera roi, où l'amour sera loi, où tu seras reine. Ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas.
Absolutely beautiful.
So this is a snippet because thank you for letting me sharing, but a snippet because this fluctuation, this thing, this music that I just played is at the core of my story indeed. And so at the age of 17, mind you, I never shared this. Only when it's needed. So you can maybe relate. At the age of 17, I was doing my day as a 17-year-old should. And then I came home. We lived in the south of France. We're French Moroccan gypsies background, and I grew up in the south of France. Was a single mom, and after my day, I came home and I had to walk a long path to go home every day because it's a dirt path. We have horses. We live in the middle of the country. Actually, we raise horses. And as I arrived to the door, there's a little garden. It's in the south of France. So I want you to picture the beautiful day, that day, the olive trees, the lavender field in the front. You had the horses, the dogs and cats, and why not? So I just want you to picture this. I'm 17 and I'm walking into this dirt all the way up. It takes a mile to get there. thinking, oh, great, I'm just gonna go to my room, play my guitar, do what I need to do. Then I see at the door, at the gate, the garden gate, my guitar, this one, and a box. And I'm thinking to myself, that's very strange. And as I look out in the field that we have in the front, remember this is a big, big field, I see a car that I don't know. I don't know, I never seen this car. And it's a big Mercedes car, brown Mercedes car. And I'm thinking, oh, we have a visitor. My mom has a visitor, right? No big deal. My mom is actually crying on the floor. And I see this man standing up with a big cowboy hat on. Yeah, that's strange. Why is my mom crying? What is this man doing here? Well, so I said, Mom, what's going on? And she couldn't talk. She was crying so badly, and I have no idea what's going on. And and I started to realize what was going on as I'm seeing my guitar in the front porch with a box. And she tells me and my sister, I had to make a choice. He asked me, it's either you or me. This man asked my mom, if I'm going to be with you, it's either the girls or me. And my mom, who was very weak from the beginning, you know, she had problems, internal problems. She was bipolar. She had a lot of problems. I call it my poor mom, as Robert Kiyosaki would say, my poor dad. So, and he was one of my mentor, by the way. And so I call her my poor mom. And so then I realized then what was happening, and she couldn't look at me. She couldn't tell me anything. So I said, okay. Then I left, and I never returned. And I'm sharing this story because there's nerves in our life. There's things that the trauma that hit nerves at the core. And the safety net that we think we are in, it's never safe. There's always something that might happen. There's always some person that can show up and take that safety net, a comfort zone away from you. And it can happen in an instant. And what do you do? Right? What do you do? So you build this armor, you go on not trusting yourself, you are feeling not worthy, you are imprinted with a program of unworthiness and doubt and self-sabotage and all kind of programs that are defining you at the time. And if you're not careful enough, you can easily turn into the outside of what God is, which is you can turn into prostitution easily. You can turn suicidal. You can turn into drugs. You can have addiction. And in the spectrum of it all, I went through that, all the spectrum. I didn't go through an addiction with drugs, but what happened is that I was addicted to pain. Understand? I was addicted to pain. And with the foundation of not feeling worthy, I was very vulnerable to anything that can prey on other people. And because of the program that men are not good at the time, that was my program. See, I was programmed from the beginning, having a single mom. My dad left us. My mom was a single mom, and she did what she could with what she had. But she never taught us how to be strong. She said, what, growing up? Thank God that you're pretty, because at least you can get married. At least you can have a life. At least somebody's gonna want you. I was brought up with a program that um, take you into this prison of consciousness that you can never do anything for yourself. You have to have the man to help you. You have to, you understand. In Europe in those days, it was, you have to trust the man. You have to obey to what they're telling you, even though it might be something bad, but you still have to stick with it. And so that was the program. And so prior to that, with the program, I was sexually assaulted growing up by a man that was in my family. It was not a stranger. It was somebody that was in our home a lot of time, and everybody adored. So when over time that kept coming and kept going on, I finally talked to my mom, and she said, "What? It's your fault." So I want you to understand what I can do to somebody. And I know a lot of you who are watching have gone through horrible experiences, and you know exactly what I'm saying. I was 15. At that time, I can say to you that I died, that something inside of me was dead, and I became numbed. So I developed all kind of things like bulimia, eating disorder. I tried to take my life a few times and doing many things. Um, and each time, I did so, I had something that occurred and occurred and occurred uh, when I heard a voice, call it an inner voice, that God never left me. And it is the one who's always stepped in and showed me the guidance. And I'm saying this to you because in the trauma, there is a discovery, and there is a gift that comes with it. That you are put to the trauma, not just to be just tested, but to strengthen your faith. And what I'm saying to you is very important, because all of your trauma and experiences and pain are actually the PowerPoint for what you're supposed to do here in this life. This is very important you get this. It's not that it's done to you, it's done for you. And so what you're going through right now in your life, think about the foundation of this PowerPoint, the things that you need to help people with. This is the real value of what you're going through. And so I hope I answered some questions. If I didn't, I'm sure there's plenty of other things that I could talk about. But I want to leave it with this, as we are all capable to get into a space of courage. Because see, it's the thing. We can have the burning desire. Perfectly fine, we need it. But before burning desire, you need to step into a courage zone. A courage zone. Because without the courage, we couldn't grasp on to more. We couldn't grasp on to this burning desire to keep going. So it's step by step, getting into a courage zone. And how do you get courage? Well, you could talk to somebody about it. You can ask for help. And I know, because you are being guided and there's always somebody there. But you have to ask. You have to become aware of the path, that you are on your higher path at all times. That there is no right or wrong, that you didn't do anything wrong, and that you have to forgive yourself. That's what I had to do. It's a long healing process, but I had to heal myself and forgive myself first. Even if it wasn't my fault, we are the creator of our reality. And no matter what, is this forgiveness that will unlock your divine power. And you let it amplify. You surrender. See, I hear a lot, many beautiful things that conferences are teaching. It's amazing. I hear a lot about letting go. I hear about, but once you in the problem, you are in the trauma yourself in this moment, you cannot get rid of the image. See, today, there is still the same image in my head that I see my guitar at the door. I see the man standing. I see and I remember the experience with, the assault. But this is the thing. You have the power to change your experiences by having experiences that are more positive, if you will, in a simple way. And so these experiences now are becoming bigger than the other experiences. So where you focus, you feel and you expand. Where you focus, you feel and you expand. So when you start focusing on new experiences, you become more aware of what's going on. And the universe will bring you tools and link you to other beings that are going to be right here, right where you are, to help you and to guide you.
Amen. Thank you for sharing your story with us. It's very inspiring, Juju. Now, can you tell us more about your know your worth principle?
Did you say the worth?
Know your worth principle.
Oh yeah. Oof. Know your worth principle. Okay, this is a little tricky because it's very subtle. Only you can have guidance, but there's something that is within you that is right here to ready to wake up. And in the worth principle that helped me, I would like to share with you what I continue to do, if that's okay.
Yes, ma'am.
It's very simple, but it's very powerful. I began to feel completely alone because I had no one. I had no one to talk to. I had to count on only myself. And because of my spirituality, I I was always in conversation, with God, if you will. So I was alone, but I've never was alone. That makes sense. So the first step is that we need to surrender to what is without pushing it away, without trying to let go, without trying to resist. Because the more the resistance, the more it grows. So instead of letting go of something, it's a different perception. You embracing the darkness to release the light. You embracing everything that ever happened and it transform into light. You embrace instead of letting go, because the more you're trying to let go of something, first of all, we can say let go, but it does not happen. It will never happen, I promise you. You chase it out of your mind, but it's still there somewhere. So you need to transform different experiences. And the worthy part is that going back to you as a child. No, so no matter how old you are right now, if you went through a trauma, for instance, now I have this on my desk. What is this? This is pictures of myself when, let's see, this very old. This is my mom and on the beach in the south of France with me as a little girl, for instance, and then my twin sister. This is me in the middle right here, my mom, right? It's in the south of France. And I have many, it's a little book that I kept with me. And this is me and my twin, right? My little twin. Okay. So, what I'm sharing is, why do I have pictures of myself? Why? This is me right here. Because during the day, this principle of being worthy is very important because it's the foundation of your wealth. Your worth becomes later on your wealth in your life. So you must get this piece locked and locked out of the puzzle. When you look at your picture, if you want to work with a picture of yourself, as I do, you want to talk to yourself, to this pure being that truly never asked for anything, just showed up in the world. And you want to let her know that she is worthy and loved. And you want to let her know that she is supported. And you want to let her know that she's walking with God. And that she is worthy of all the gifts that the world can possibly give her. And that's why I work with this picture, because only you can do the work. See, you can work with coaches and mentors, and it's beautiful, but only you can have those moments to transform your experience from the inside out. Because when you transform those feelings, you're declaring to yourself that there is a different reality for you. There is a different reality that you came here to do in this world. You transform the vibration, therefore, you transform this reality and create a life that you were wired to have, which is a miracle that you can do it all. You can have a lot. You can have it all. You can have the wealth, the health, the liberation, the relationships. You are the key. You are the magic key. So that's a little gift that I hope would be helpful for someone to go through and to have this experience of knowing that you are worthy as a, the child of God that you are. It's that simple.
Amen. Now, Juju, tell us more about your love yourself principle.
When you tell those words to yourself, first of all, many of us in this lifetime, in our lives, men, women, and children, all humans, we have this lack of love. In fact, Gigi, isn't it what we do when we're doing? So we can bridge that to others and let them know that they don't have a lack of love. It's always been there, right? And this misalignment is, in fact, in our ancestry systems that can go eons of years from your grandma, your mother, your dad. If they imprinted that within your own program and within your own DNA genetic, now you have that lack of. And it's not from you. It's that it comes from, for me, it came from my mother. She's never loved herself. She's never declared those words to herself. She's never did the work. So it's more than just telling yourself you love yourself. You really have to feel it. You have to go inward. You have to understand that love is the key to all of your dreams. and it's the healing process. So when you are watching this picture and you do this and you close your eyes, and in this moment in time there is a, as you command I love myself, you will shift in a DNA. You will actually not just heal yourself, but this is so powerful, is that you will become to realize, it's like a little chain, that you will heal all the women before you, and if you have children, they will also unlock that as well. It goes back to going back to your divine blueprint, which is you are love. You are the vibration of love. It's always been there. So being out of alignment, it's not really that we brought this to ourselves. It was an imprint. It was this autopilot or unconscious, and so when you realize that it's always been here, there's no more lack of it. It's filled up. And you live your life with that vibration. That's how you manifest. That's how you create. Okay?
Very powerful. Now tell us more about Biztuition.
So I was once asleep in my dream, and I dreamed about. So obviously, I've been an intuitive from birth, and I've never, I was not born with the veil. So what that means is that I was born with seeing with a different eye. So I don't see from those eyes. I was born with a different view, a different eye. Okay. And I was dreaming it was about 3 years ago or so, 3 or 4 years ago. And I dreamed about this logo, this logo. And the way it is that I teach that as well. It's like when you dream about something, have a little night journal. And even if you don't understand, scribble it down. You don't have to understand, scribble it down. But this time, it was very vivid. It was this logo, and I wrote it down when I get up. Tough to explain in words when things comes very quickly. Put it down, Biztuition, intuition, business intuition. At the time, I was coaching people in sales, marketing, and why not? And a lot of time, even when I was speaking then before Biztuition, people used to come to me and said, "Can you teach me what you just did? Can you help me?" And so the whole thing kind of seeked me. I didn't have to look for it. It was already there. So it became the journey of really empowering entrepreneurs to unlock their intuition, which I call Biztuition, and so that they can make decision with this very powerful survival skill. Most powerful survival skill that someone can be having in business is to develop their intuition, their survival skill. And so that's what I do. I help a lot of people with equipping them with Biztuition, which has got a lot of, facets around that, because we do retreat, we do workshop, we take people in the journey, and it is what it is. And Biztuition, people come and they said, well, we need this, we need that. And it's just kind of, I don't force things, you know what I'm saying? It's a very intuitive, powerful work that now I'm able to, with grace and ease, attract very powerful business beings in the world, all over the world, that they listen. I mean, I had a beautiful conversation with Mark Cuban, and he's gonna actually we'll have a lot of the sharks in the show, but him and I, and a lot of them have conversations with me about Biztuition and how powerful they actually have been using that in their business, even to make decision on the TV show Shark Tank. They are using the Biztuition, and so it's a very powerful asset that we can all develop because it's a muscle that's been atrophy. It's a muscle. We just have to, go back to the gym, if you will, and try to work it out a little bit. That's all it is. And it will come up. It will start to flourish. I know you're very, very extremely intuitive. Extremely intuitive. You have
Yes.
beautiful gifts.
Thank you, Juju. Now, Juju, can you tell us more about your podcast, the Mystical Entrepreneur Podcast?
Thank you for sharing. The mystical entrepreneur goes back to the story I shared of not being understood as a child, growing up as a mystic. And, even my kids call me an alien because I do things that are not from this world, but they're working. They're working really great. I read, this is how I read a book. I put my hand on the book and actually read the book like this. And so when people say, "Oh, I'm going to send you my book for you to read," I said, "Oh, that's amazing. But I already read it." Between the time they tell me about their book, I already read the book. And so those abilities that I didn't ask for, it was a curse growing up because no one could understand me. I had learning disability. I'm going back to the show, why I created the show. Learning disability, extreme dyslexia, so I couldn't learn at regular school. That's the reason I went to music and art school. And so what happened is that a lot of beings start to show up in my field, sharing with me very similar things that they grew up with, but they could not ever express themselves. And it's some celebrities I'm talking about, very powerful beings. And they are telling me, well, I could never really tell people that I was talking to a spirit, or I had this ability and I can never really share it with anyone. So I developed this platform for the mystical of us, this group, this avatars, if you will, that are in alignment with God consciousness, that they are in a different zone, that they are making decision and very important decisions, sometimes billions of dollars decision, but they are allowing themselves to stick with what they know, which is the heart alignment and the spiritual alignment in the physical world. And so I wanted to have a show that was able to allow those beautiful souls to come in and share their gift, their mystical abilities with the world, and they can actually, you can actually speak about it, and now they have a platform to do so. Because for me, it was very, very tough growing up. I had no one that I could express, that I could levitate or doing all kind of stuff, but I could not, and if I did, don't talk to Julie because she's not going to understand you. And it was a really hard, very hard growing up. So I was in my room talking to spirits all day, and so I could not relate to this world. I felt like I've never belonged here, and the matter of fact, I'm not from here. We call ourselves the group that we are the Starseed Actuarian, and so now that it's all came through, a lot of star seeds come to my life in business. And so we're able to bridge business with higher consciousness, which is truly a miracle, and is truly something I've been waiting for eons of years. So now that it's happening, I'm truly grateful that I was allowed to actually manifest that here in this time.
Very powerful. Now, Juju, let's talk about your luggage. Tell us more about your luggage.
Okay, so it's the thing. I hear, I live my life with this alignment right here, you know what I'm saying? Right here.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
it goes through here and it goes whoop. And because the voice that comes in, if you ever heard the voice of God, it is so powerful that you cannot deny it. So you can tell yourself, well, that's not my intuition, or that's this, or the why it's not safe enough, or whatever. All of this thing that you think, all these things that you, the concept, the constructs of time, the things that you're conflicted with, when you hear this voice, all of this conflict goes away. And you can no longer deny what you need to do. So I hear this voice. I was in Paris, and it's interesting because this voice comes a lot of time when you are at the end of a trauma or an upgrade or something is manifesting in your life, a transformation's happening. And this voice came in and says, pick up your guitar and go to America. It didn't say, wait 6 months, get ready, speak English, make more money, make sure that you know people there. It didn't say all this. It says, pick up your guitar and go. And I listen. I pick up my guitar. I had this luggage, and it's a tiny luggage, and it's beat up because it's old like me.
I love it.
And this little tiny, it's not even leather, it's plastic. I don't even know how I endured all of this because I was on the street with this thing in the street of LA. And
I
so
love
this
it.
this luggage was given by my grandmother at 1 o'clock in the morning before I left my country, because she was the only one that I could go to after a big trauma that happened. And she said, well, take this. This is my luggage, because I didn't even have a luggage. I had a basket, truly a gypsy, I had a basket. And so I pick up in 1 o'clock in the morning, and I called a cab, and the cab came to pick me up, and I had this guitar and this luggage with me.
Talk
And
to us.
he had long hair. It was a kind of cute cab man, Frenchman, with a cigarette in the cab and the long hair. And he looked at me like this before in the parking lot, and he looked at me, and said, where are you going at 1 o'clock in the morning? And I go, I'm going to America. And you should have seen his eyes. And he goes, you're going where? And I said, yeah, I'm going to America. What are you going to do? I said, I don't know. I just need to be there. I just know I need to be there. He's like, I've never met anyone like you. You are blowing my mind, all this in French, because that was my language at the time. And so I flew, and it was January of 95. I'm going to tell you something. I got out of the airport. It was freezing. And I was not even scared. It was the strangest thing. It was like I was out of a body experience. And I truly know that was not, I was being guided. And I was homeless for several months, and I was feeding myself with baby burger. And this food baby burger, why? Because I'm thinking, well, if it's good enough for a baby that he can be living on, and I don't have any money, I can buy baby burger anywhere. I can recognize it. And I was singing on the street and playing guitar on tips. So this little amount of tips was allowing me to go on every day. And a lot of miracles happened along the way. But it's the thing. I had a knowing. It was already done. Like, I had all the reality was already done. I just had to walk into it. One day we'll share more, because one of the little exercise that I empower everyone to do is this. When I was this age, tiny, and I was feeling like I didn't belong here, and automatically, I don't know why, I don't know how, I was going to meditation at that age, because they showed me the way. And each time I go in, my little self I create my life. What I'm saying to you is so important that I want you to cherish it. Do it or don't do it. However, when I was able to go within myself and create that story and seeing myself doing the things that I'm now doing, I created a reality that was already being orchestrated in the divine background. I'm asking you to do the same thing. If there's something you want in your life, work within and see it for yourself. And there is no expectation, see? Don't ask for something that you want. Know that it already has happened and feel so grateful for it. And it is done, it is done, it is done. Do not expect anything from it. And just keep walking on the higher path. That's how I live my life, and that's how I create my business, my life, foundation of all my relationships. I do not have any expectation because it's already done.
Amen. Very powerful. Now, what change do you wish to see in the world, Juju?
There is no change in the world to see. There is a conception that is a disease of the mind that's today. Call it infobesity, as we talked about, this inflammation of information that we're all trying so hard to change the world. When you go within, the world is already here and there's nothing to change. The world you see outside, see, it's a mirror and a reflection of a mind that has been a collective consciousness. So it's not the true world that you're seeing. You got to go beyond that. If you really want to change the world, it is about truly accepting first as it is. So yes, of course there is things that we need to activate, we need to be part of, we need to have a positive environment for all beings to be here. But that comes along with accepting of what is first. Because if we live in a world of duality, of always trying to change something, we are going to miss of the biggest miracle of our lives, and we're not going to be here present. We're going to be in the future, or we're going to be in the past. If you really want to change something, love yourself, and the world around you is going to change tremendously.
Amen. Now, tell us more about what gives you happiness in your life.
What happiness is for me in my life?
Yes, ma'am. What gives you happiness?
What happiness? Okay. Well, what create my happiness? Well, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that. Happiness in my life is what is a celebration of you being here. It's a celebration of when I'm eating dinner with my kids. It's looking at them in their eyes and seeing the world through their eyes. It's talking to you through this all incredible 2 days with Dr. Angelica and her program, the healing retreat. There is no this is happiness and this is not. It doesn't work this way. Either you're in this alignment and you're working and walking with God because you can have pain, and we all experience pain, all of us. But you can experience pain on the ground of suffering, or you can experience pain on the ground of joy. You have the choice. Do you want to experience pain on the ground of suffering, or exit and experience pain on the ground of joy? It's a different kind of pain. Does that answer a question?
Yes, ma'am. It exceeded my question. I love it. Now, what is your best advice to the audience for walking with purpose and living a life of happiness?
When you are conflicted with things in your life, problems, bills to pay, conflict, it takes you away from what you want. It takes you away from the ability to be fulfilled and to express yourself. It takes you away. So I would say to this is walk on purpose. I'm very careful when I choose my words because if you're not a pilot, like a lot of people are, watching the news, you're not to conquer the mind. The mind is going to walk you. You're not going to walk the mind like a wild monkey. The wild monkey is going to walk you. It's going to choose from you. So the key is what? To control your mind by the things that you are saying, doing, talking, moving. Walk on purpose. Walk to walk. Don't walk to go somewhere else. Walk to walk. Take a pen to take a pen. Read a book to read a book. Do that. Walk on purpose.
Absolutely amazing. I love it. Thank you, Juju. Thank you for being a guest on Walk With Me podcast. I appreciate you. Now, where can the audience find you?
Well, my friends, my beautiful beauty souls, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me. I have a page on Facebook, a celebrity page, if you will. You can find me on biztuition.com. That is biztuition.com. There's free gift in there. There's a book. There's plenty of things. And there's also discovery call. If you ever wanted to meet with me, you can ask for a discovery call. That's complimentary call. There is that's it. I mean, then the podcast that you are going to start seeing about is going to be probably in different podcast arena. I don't even know how the words are about that, but it's like going to be a big show, and you're going to see it a lot of places on social media anyway. So LinkedIn, Juju Julie Christopher, find me there. Facebook. I'm not so much on Instagram, but you can go ahead and visit my Instagram. Then what else? I mean, that's about it. You can get to me. I'm very I'm very open.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out Juju at biztuition.com and all of her social media sites. And Juju, again, thank you so much for being a guest on Walk With Me podcast.
You're beautiful. Thank you so much. I
You're
love you
welcome.
so much. I love you all so much.
Love you too.